Just last year, we were able to secure, in partnership with the county, actually the county did, but the federal government has a distressed bridges program. I can't remember the exact name, but basically a grant program where the federal government will pay for 95% of the cost to reconstruct a bridge. The county identified one bridge in the Huron Point subdivision, and the county also said that 5% match, we'll split it with you. So the match is only 2.5% of the cost to do the bridge. But you've got to come up with some engineering, and we'll split the cost of engineering, and if there's any easement, we'll split that cost with you too. So the county said, whatever the cost is, we'll split it with you, but we're going to get 95% of the construction cost from the federal government. That still required this board to vote to spend $88,450 to repair one bridge. And there's three more behind it, and although the engineers tell us that the Archer Street Bridge was the most deteriorated from a structural perspective, almost any resident who lives in Huron Point says, why, is going to say, come March next year, why are you wasting time on that stupid bridge? It looks fine to me. The bridge you got to fix is Lakeshore, because when I drive over, there's a big old steel plate. Well, the problem is the engineers went underneath, they look at the beams, and they'd say, the worst bridge is Archer. So that's the one we're doing first, because that's the most likely to fail under a load, and a catastrophic failure obviously is something that none of us want. But the point is when they get to Lakeshore, they're not going to say, on this one, we're going to give you the bridge. That bridge is going to cost more than the Archer Bridge, and the match is going to be greater. And we're either in a position to say, nah, we don't want $1 million to reconstruct a bridge in federal dollars because we're not willing to come up with $100 grand, or we're going to have to come up with some dollars in the form of a match. And it's either answer is okay. I'm just not comfortable passing up that opportunity. I'm most comfortable giving voters a chance to consider it.
And just one other thing, of the levels of government, I know personally, and I know other people as well, the level of trust of the local government that the tax dollars are being spent in your local community is important to them. When I give a dollar to the state, odds are it's going to the UP, Northern Michigan, not in my backyard, not on my road. And this is an option to provide a source of funding at the local level. And that's what it is at this point, is an option to the residents to make a decision to determine how they want to have roads. Because yes, while the county is responsible, the county's been responsible for a long time. They've been responsible forever. Look at the condition of the roads we have. Their idea of a road is different than what you want as a road. They might say, you know what, a gravel road would be perfect right there. We're going to come in and we're going to turn your road into gravel because that's easier for us to maintain. And under Act 51, we're meeting our standards. You got a gravel road now. I don't think that's the option. I think we need to say we want roads that are help our property value, that make it more safe for us to drive on, allow us to have our kids ride on bikes, allow for people to be able to get to school. It's just, and this is an option to make that happen. If it's not the option the voters choose, then we have to look at other avenues.
Yeah, that's an okay answer.
But I also think if they come with a 95% match for a bridge, I think that I know this board would say that's great. We'll put in $100 grand.
Yeah, but
Sure,
I think
but where am I going to get it from? That's my whole point.
last time
We
it was-
don't levy a property tax. This board
last
does
time it
not
was
collect property tax.
$88,000.
If they
Next
came-
time it's $300,000. The pool dries up pretty quickly.
We have $100,000 to pay for that at a one-off. We're talking $1.34 million a year here.
But you're talking
But if they
three
come,
more bridges.
I don't think anybody on this board would vote no to spend $100,000 out of fund balance to pay for a bridge.
No,
But
and that's
I
good,
don't
but
think
after,
that's
after I
gonna
do
happen.
4 bridges at $400 grand, pretty soon the guy who lives 3 miles away from there says, well, I'd like $400,000 in my neighborhood. How come you're not spending $400 grand on my street? I could get my road repaved for $100,000, but you're pissing away money on a bridge. My whole point is at some point, if we're gonna be spending those kinds of dollars, $100,000 here, $100,000 there, we need to have a source of revenue for that. Otherwise, I don't think it's fair to take general fund dollars and spend them primarily in one community. There's a need to consider everybody's needs.
I mean, $100,000 here or there, that does, some of the, we've gotten half miles of road. That's all it would have needed, is $100,000 to mill and overlay, and it would have been done.
Well, that'll be 2 miles under the engineer's estimate. So, is there really any new or further discussion on this subject, board members? Hearing none, we've got a motion by Mr. Witt with support by Mr. Caprell to adopt the road millage resolution and place the question on the November 4th, 2014 ballot. Mr. Witt, will you please take a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Witt, yes. Mr. Caprell,
Yes.
Mr. Batanti.
Yes.
Mr. Brado,
Yes.
Mr. Tominello.
Yes.
Mr. York.
No.
Mr. Verkest.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. Next on our agenda is public comments. We do have a closed session, but we will open the floor up for public comments, 5 minutes in length, over anything that anyone might want to address the board on. If there are no public comments, then we'd be looking for a motion to enter into closed session to receive an update from the town.
Comments first.
I have to-
Oh, I'm sorry.
I wanted to bring something to the board tonight. I've had some residents contact me about the blinking light at Bridgeview and South River Road. Some residents have seen accidents, rear endings. One woman even saw someone get T-boned there. And they're concerned, and they'd like to know why the light has been changed, from a steady, alternating light to a blinking light.
Yep.
I think it causes confusion for some of the residents, and especially during the school year, a lot of confusion when people are in difficulty trying to make a left-hand turn on the South River Road with all the bus traffic and schools, and, because South River's right there. They would like to know the residents would like to know what they can do to get that changed back to a working light
Sure.
for safety.
And I can answer that. Certainly, this isn't the first time we've heard that question,
Yeah.
and so it isn't the first time that I've inquired about it. Ultimately, again, traffic signals are a function of the county's Department of Roads.
Yeah.
And they go through several methods to determine what traffic control should be at what intersection. One of the things they do is they do traffic studies in terms of volumes in each direction. Another method that they use is they look at accidents and the volume of accidents.
Right.
In the past, when I've requested information on that intersection, the data they have suggests that there are less accidents now than there was prior to that light. So that's data. But the answer to your question is, what can citizens do? The answer is, the Department of Roads is an independent body. I mean,
Right.
they function independent of us. We ask for that light, but it's probably most powerful when residents make that contact to the Department of Roads to say that they would like to see an actuated traffic signal there as opposed to a blinking yellow and red. I live right outside there. I don't know how long it's been. I can't say that I've been in accidents there, but I'm always hesitant when I go there because someone new to that area comes there on Bridgeview. They have a flashing red. They assume that there's a flashing red in the other direction, and every once in a while someone goes and makes their turn, and you'll see people hesitate or stop. So I can't give you the answer, but I know that the answer that the county presents is their studies in terms of traffic flow and accident data suggest that intersection is safer now than it was before.
I
What
think-
can citizens do? They can call the county and say they would like something different.
And part of the confusion is because it's a standard light up there. I think that's part of it, because you expect a standard light to
Right.
respond like a standard light, as opposed to over at Jefferson and South River, where it's a blinking red light, which is very clearly a three-way stop. So it's very
Yeah.
clear that standard light just gives the impression that it should function like a standard light.
Yeah, and a three-way stop is probably not a conducive road for 3 stop signs. I mean, it's.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the idea is a stop on South River in the middle of that stretch would result in
Problems.
rear ending, those kind of collisions, and
Yep.
but the answer is maybe there can be signage, maybe there can be information saying, the cross intersection doesn't stop, or and we can request that. But the answer to residents is, if there's something that you're not satisfied with, it's absolutely acceptable and okay to call the township and say we have a problem with traffic controls. But the reality is, we're not empowered to do it, and it's ultimately the county that's empowered to make that change.
Thank you.
All right, any other board comment? All right, I'd be looking for a motion to enter into closed session to receive an update from the township attorney regarding the litigation of FJN LLC and Frank's Holding LLC, Geno's, versus VJ Paroc and the Charter Township of Harrison, and an update on local IAFF 1737 negotiations.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. York with support by Mr. Caprow. Discussion? Hearing none and seeing no public comment, Mr. Witt, will you please take the roll call?
Yes, Mr. York?
Yes.
Mr. Caprow?
Yes.
Mr. Batanti?
Yes.
Mr. Brado?
Yes.
Mr. Tominello?
Yes.
Mr. Witt? Yes. Mr. Verkowski?
Yes. All right, we'll take a brief recess and enter into closed session.